Christy, I wrote it here so I wouldn't forget, but I'm very happy to see you at Hallmark.
Oh, thank
So, and I know that we have someone here in the room that has mentioned art and language. So I'd love seeing how art, language, and relationships
Yes.
are connected in your work.
Yes.
With this type of work, it's not just about the words that are translated, and you mentioned transcreation, so we can look that up later, but the culture that's connected to the language. How do you work on building a true, authentic understanding of more than one culture, but then also why should we build an understanding of different cultures?
Yes, and I love that I'm sharing this table here with Pepe because that actually happens a lot of medical interpretation too. There's a lot of cultural competency, there's a lot of advocacy work that you have to do when you're there. That's the way I see it as well. In the world that I'm in, when you look at communications, when you look at marketing, when you look at any creative or product development, whatever the products are, it might be soap, it might be communications, it might be entertainment. It's not just about language. It really is about tone and register. It's about cultures. It's about what's meaningful to the audience that you have or to the client that you have. So you really have to do a lot of research. For example, in the world that I'm in, we do a lot of consumer research. We do a lot of data analysis and statistics. We actually pull a lot of reports and work with agencies that are doing the research for us. What do people gravitate to? What are people buying? What are people consuming on social media? Part of what my team does is a lot of, we call it social listening. So we're doing active research on social media platforms. What are Latinos sharing? What kind of memes are they sharing? What kind of humor? What political issues are they reacting to and how? Who are they sharing it? Are they sharing it just with their family? Are they sharing it with their collaborators at work? So it's really about behavior. It's really about understanding values, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's cultural. We do a lot of studies also on retroacculturation. And this is something that we're seeing a lot in, not just in millennials, but in Generation C, where second, third generation bilinguals, or maybe they speak more, are really trying to trace back their roots and really dig in and understand, because now more than ever people want to understand where they came from and their roots, right? We have this charge to really have a strong sense of identity, and when it's about your cultural identity, people are really going back, and this is for younger, and we have a lot of young people in the room too. They're really proud of their heritage, and they're going back and relearning, right? So I see a lot of, for example, I do a lot of family advocacy at schools. I see your second, third generation Latinos that didn't really grew up speaking Spanish because their parents wanted them to acculturate and assimilate immediately. So they took the Spanish language from them just so that they would, blend in immediately. And those are the people that are going back to school, learning Spanish, teaching their children Spanish, because they see it not only as a skill or as an asset or as a tool, but they see it as something that is part of their identity that got lost in the way. So we do a lot of those studies to understand why are people so interested, and it has much more to do with just being a language. We know, and Pepe can attest to this, that speaking more than one language is not just a skill set of languages, but it's your cognitive skills grow, your problem-solving skills. Everybody here in the room has better problem-solving skills than monolinguals. I can just tell you that. Yep. It's the way our brains are wired.
A scientific fact.
Yes, there's a lot of research behind it. So it's not just about language. It's just we have so much more potential to develop cognitively and much more to give than individuals who are monolingual. And we really have to take that opportunity to pursue those strengths and really, really exercise those muscles that are there. They're just kind of dormant.
You mentioned that word, it was retro what?
Retroacculturation.
Is that something else we can also look up?
Yeah.